recording my stream. Hello, my dear friends. Basic greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. And I'm Dr. Viktor Fursov. I'm a research entomologist, beekeeper, and teacher. Entomologist, this is a research scientist who is studying insects, the science about insects, entomology. And these are different creatures which are belonging to insects, 6 legs, creepy crawly. They are spread all around the world, and you can find them everywhere in any forest, desert, inside your house, outside of your house, in your apartment, somewhere outside of your apartment, even in your food, in your meal, even in your porridge. You can cook sometimes yourself in your kitchen. But this is a strange case. But what about normal cases? Usually insects are living in the nature, and I'm very pleased to show you different interesting stories about insects in the nature or in captivity in insects culture, because entomologists and some amateurs are very surprising people. They like to keep cultures of different living creatures. Some people prefer pets like dogs, cats, some lizards, chameleons, but some amateurs, some pet lovers prefer to keep cultures of insects. Like in Japan, many Japanese boys and girls like to keep cultures of stag beetles. Unfortunately, I don't have stag beetles culture at the present time. Lucanidae family, or maybe some Scarabidae family, very nice beetles, big size, pretty nice. And of course, any of you would be surprised, but so pretty, so wonderful, and very big beetles, Lucanidae beetles, stag beetles, and scarab beetles as well. But nevertheless, some beetles are quite common in the culture, and these beetles are very safe for cultivation, to keep in the culture, because they are not biting, they are not stinging, they don't have poisonous substances. Sometimes they're a little bit smelly. For some people, they're irritating, but nevertheless, they are very peaceful, and they are not tended to escape from the bag. So it's quite easy to keep them, just for curiosity, for observations, and sometimes for keeping culture, for feeding your pets. The same lizards, chameleons, hedgehogs, maybe even some monkeys, or some insectivorous animals which you can keep at home. And who are these beetles? Definitely you know these beetles. They are named mealworms. Mealworms belonging to the family Tenebrionidae, or darkling beetles. Darkling beetles were really dark colored, or brownish, or dark brown, and were mostly useful. The biggest of them, this beetle, which is called super mealworm, because this beetle is pretty big, approximately 2.5 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and this is called in Latin name Zophobas atratus. Zophobas atratus family Tenebrionidae. Here I show you the culture, but I have also culture in my at home, in the bag like that. You see, bag so size approximately 5 liters, good enough for keeping small laboratory culture. Here one bag for adults, for beetles, and one bag for larvae, just developing stages of beetles, because beetles, they lay eggs, and larvae are growing, becoming pupa, and then pupa becoming adult, just big beetle of this color. What should you do to keep these beetles? First of all, cage, and then to keep substrate in the bag. Substrate better to be used like some wood or some parts of vegetables, dry vegetables, like dry skins of bananas, the simplest substrate, or I use just wooden parts. So even I use here, to avoid moisture, some tea bags. And I have here beetles, like here. This beetle. You see, beetle is quite peaceful, not running so fast. Super mealworm is quite peaceful beetles. They are not biting, as I said. Quite easy to cultivate and easy to observe because they are not running, they are not hiding usually. They're hiding during daytime, in a twilight time, before sunset, after sunset. They're just crawling around in a bag, searching for food. It's important to keep the substrate dry, otherwise you would have some problems with fungi, with rotating substrate, with rotating meal here. And how to feed them? To feed them, here's some fruits, sometimes only few fruits, like here you can see here on this big picture, adults beetles were feeding on the fresh skin of banana or maybe fresh skin of apple. So easy to feed them because they do like moisture from time to time. But you don't need to keep moisture in the bag because otherwise fungi will cover everything around. And also moisture is very helpful for development of such unpleasant creatures like mites, because if moisture will be inside your bag, mites will be developing very easily on substrate like wet fruits. So they will be spreading everywhere here around on wet fruits or on wet cereals, because best food can be dry bread or cereals. Sometimes people use just cereals for substrate. So all beetles are crawling around substrate, lay eggs, and just feeding on cereals very well. So, and crashing it very much. So you see here, beetle is feeding on apple. This is not a skin of banana, this is skin of apple. So, and this is female. I can show you later what is the difference between male and female. How to find the culture of super mealworm? Where? Usually in a zoo shop or in a pet shop. Actually, I wrote article about life cycle of a Zophobas atratus in the Journal of Ukrainian Entomological Society 5 years ago with my co-author Lyubov Sergeyevna Cherney. This journal published paper called Zophobas atratus as a new genus and new species of darkling beetles in the fauna of Ukraine. It was 5 years ago because it was introduced as not invasive species but as species in culture. Still, it's not proved during these 5 years that the species can survive outside the laboratory, outside the culture, in a room. Probably they will die because they do not develop well after keeping it in the culture with temperature about 15 Celsius degree. With lower temperatures, the development of decreasing, and under the temperature lower than 15 degrees, larvae and adults can die quite quickly. So that's why this species will not survive probably under the temperature -2 or -5 outside of room, somewhere even a leaf litter or in wooden places under the cut trees. So they will die. But in the laboratory, the best temperature, 20 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Celsius, are the best for development. And it's quite important to look for time of development of all stages, from egg, larvae, pupa, and adults. Definitely, we published in this paper pictures with my big four beetles. So you can see here, darkling beetles were dark, and this beetle is white. Why? Because when just newly hatched beetle is very pale, just becoming darker and just brownish after 1-2 days. Just freshly emerged from a pupa beetle is very pale, like white, with white elyters and very soft, transparent second pair of wings. But so That's why he is also very soft. Then it's becoming, the whole surface is hardening during 1-2 days, and beetle becoming reddish, brown, and then just completely dark colored. And here is the picture of male and female. What mean male and female? How to differentiate species. It's quite easy to differentiate species if you look on the head of the beetle. The beetle can be different, you see. Firstly here, on the face, the edge of a face is called clypeus. Clypeus is transversive, like a line between mandibles. Mandibles are present, small one, but well developed. So this image has a straight clypeus, straight line on clypeus, like here. But this one, on another picture, I have a male. And what is the difference? I show the difference on the next video. Male of the head of male has a different clypeus, different edge, frontal edge of face. Clypeus with special notch, which is shaped like this. I show you. It's not so well visible, but nevertheless it's visible. Shaped semicircular notch. Well, this shape of a clypeus, and this is a male. So it's very specific for male. So this is a male. This shape of a face, which is named clypeus part for male. Let's talk about stages. What about stages? Where you can buy beetles, as we say, you can buy beetles in a zoo shop. So, or you can buy in a zoo larvae of beetles. Usually are sold big size larvae, 5 centimeter, 4 centimeter big larvae, which are used usually for feeding different pets, which are kept in the captivity. So big larvae of super mealworm are very fat and very big, so quite easy to use it to feed insectivorous insects. But they should pupate. For pupation, you need to separate larvae like tea bags, teacups, in not bags, in teacups, or in separate small cages, in separate plastic cages. Only in separate cages larvae will pupate. If you keep larvae all together, I didn't find just a video of my larvae in separate file, and not today. I show it later. In all my different videos, I showed them several times. So larvae has a separate them in separate cages. Larvae will stop development, and this stage is named prepupa. Then after development of prepupa will be stage which is called pupa. And what are periods of development? Periods of development are the following. Adults, these big beetles, they can live up to 206 days, which was proved in the experiment. Nearly 1 year, this is normal time of life for the beetle. 200 days, 206 days. Matured, then just larvae appeared from eggs. So female will lay eggs, but not immediately after mating. After mating, it needs to have certain time for development of eggs inside the females. So in this time of maturation of eggs in females after copulation continues from 8 to 21 days. There are 12 larval stages of Zophobas atratus, which was recorded in laboratory conditions in the laboratory culture. 12 stages. So from time to time, larvae are molting, so growing slowly. And what is the period for the development? For how long can live larvae? The life cycle of Zophobas atratus from period of laying eggs to the emergence of adults continues from 169 up to 180 days. Stage of development of egg continues 7 days. Egg develops 7 days. Then larval stages, all 12 larval stages, are continuing during the time 151 days, and including the prepupal period, which from 6 days up to 22 days. It depends from the temperature, for sure. And pupal stage from 8 up to 21 days. The temperature was used between 20 degree and 25 degree. So total time development from the late eggs up to the adult adult it was recorded 169 up to 181 day. This full time of development, 108, and the males and females live nearly the same time. Usually the sex ratio is different, and the number of females less than males. Usually one female in the ratio 1 female to 5 males, or even 10 males. And it could be enough that female can lay up to 90 or 100 eggs from time to time in several cases, so, and the total number of eggs up to 100 eggs, as it was noticed in laboratory culture. We published here the paper with pictures of beetles and also with description of larvae, with description of larval stages, with pictures of all stages, larval stages, because larval stages are different. So it's possible to differentiate all 12 stages, and they are, because if you can select the stage, you can understand what is the step of development. So these are different morphological structures of larva. And also we just did some photos for larva as well. Even on the stage of pupa, it's possible to differentiate carefully. With certain experience, you can recognize that it depends from the seta on the end of the abdomen of pupa. Pupa also has some horns on both sides of pupa, and when I used for protection, because larvae are very active and larvae are cannibalistic, so larva is very active and can feed on the larvae of younger stages. So that's why larva is actively running everywhere around, searching for food, and can easily damage pupa. That's why important for pupa to survive. and to survive the pupa of super mealworm. Larvae is found in special cavity in wood in hidden places and pupate in hidden place just for protection, to avoid contacts with larvae, any larvae, because super mealworm, it's easy to keep them in captivity in a big mass. In internet you can find super mealworm with just in one small cage. So like running around, they can feed on different meal, even on just some dead bodies of animals, just remaining only just skeletons of. So that, but in normal situation, it's good enough to keep up to 100 or more, maybe more, larvae and beetles in this cage. 100 larvae will be here good enough. It's not overpopulated cage, just 100 to 150 larvae of the biggest size. 3 centimeters will be good enough. So write in your comments, are you keeping Zophobas at home? Have you ever kept Zophobas, super mealworm, or other beetles at home? And looking forward to see you on my channel. Thank you for watching. I hope it was interesting to know a little bit about Zophobas atratus, super mealworm if you never kept super mealworm in captivity. If you had, write in comments. For what purpose are you keeping super mealworm? Just for fun, for curiosity, or just for feeding your pets? Unfortunately, in this case, Zophobas will not survive because you are feeding with them your pets. Pets are happy, but Zophobas atratus beetles are not so happy because they're becoming as a meal for your pets, smaller pets, or big pets, I don't know. Some big pets will be lucky to eat it as well, but Zophobas will be not so lucky. Thank you for watching. Press like, write your comments, ask your questions, and don't forget, Ukraine forever. Good luck. See you soon on my channel. Bye bye. See you soon. And broadcast. Good luck. Write your comments and visit my Patreon page for donation to make small donation for a cup of coffee. Small donation is always helpful and welcome. Thank you very much for donations. Bye bye.